Okay, so I wanted to start out this segment here, this vlog entry with the now infamous gaffe that Biden made today.
And or political, or maybe precise, not and or political power. Majority writes, and I quote, women, it's a quote now from the majority, women are not without electoral or political power. It is noteworthy that the percentage of women who register to vote and cast a ballot is consistently higher than the percentage of the men who do so. End of quote. Repeat the line. Women are not without electoral and or political, or maybe precise, not and or political power. Majority writes, and I quote.
So the thing about the gaffe is he wasn't supposed to say repeat the line. That was like an instruction to him, and he read it off the teleprompter. Okay. Truly, to be completely honest, we love to bang on this guy, but that's a normal person that's not having mental issues due to his age, like this young man. Normal people can do that too. I wouldn't think a very experienced public speaker would do that, but anybody can make that mistake. It's just that we all know it's because he is senile. Okay, that's great, but what he was talking about is very relevant. He states it right here that women are more active in politics than men these days. Women are more active in education. More women are enrolled in college. More women graduate. Women have taken over several fields of several professions. The medical profession. I think, anecdotally, I still see mostly male doctors, but the margin's not so great. And I'm sure this is in my area, which is South Florida, which I perhaps may be more machismo. I mean, with the Hispanic influence and all that. But I would say 1 out of 3 at least. And I would more guesstimate 40% of women, 40% of doctors, I should say, at this point might be women. That's what it looks like to me. And I'm sure in the near future, women will become the majority, hands down, in the profession of doctor. Now, they are getting more active in politics, more influential in politics than men, by a small margin. And I would think that women that tend towards the Democratic Party would also be even more active politically. Now, we had the abortion issue. They've been, beating this horse since the leak a few months ago of the Roe v. Wade decision. It was Samuel Alito's draft opinion. Now, a lot of people in the conservative space are saying that abortion is a kind of a flop of an issue. That may or may not be true. I don't know. I tend to lean towards agreeing with that. But the Democrats are still, you hear about abortion still quite frequently. A week and a half after, is it 2 weeks? No, about a week after the decision was put out. No, it's been 2 weeks. You're not seeing crazy riots and protests. I've been saying that, since 2020 that there's not going to be violent riots and protests during Biden's tenure as president. part of the reason they incited and helped, inflame those riots and protests in 2020 was to make Donald Trump's presidency seem chaotic. So it wouldn't make much sense to, do that, to incite protests now. That just goes to show you how organic those protests in 2020 were, which was not so much. But you do have some serious protesting going on, just not really disorderly with with this abortion issue. But you don't have the violence involved, and you don't have as many spooky situations going on as what happened in 2020. They don't want chaos right now, but they do want women to vote and to turn out to vote. Now, why target women, and why with this particular issue? Well, I've been of the opinion for some time, and that politicians know this, that the political, experts, the strategists and advisors know this, that in their minds, they're behaving this way. Women are easier to, let's say, convince with minimal effort, so long as the issue is an issue that elicits strong emotion, especially negative emotion and anger. Now, that may sound sexist, but it's not sexist to say that women have a different brain chemistry, a different anatomy, and a different physiology. Slightly different, very, very slightly different. But to us, human beings, it seems like more than a marginal difference. But it's, in the grand scheme of things, almost it's almost impossible to distinguish. I mean, we see with most animals, the average person's going to have a hard time distinguishing a male of that species from a female. So, and really, the differences are quite minuscule, but to us, they're going to seem quite, important. But there's scientific evidence. There's plenty of scientific literature regarding women's emotional reactivity. One of them is right here, and this is just one of many studies. This one was the Institut Universitaire Saint-Martin de Montréal, the University of Montreal. This is an institute in the University of Montreal. They did a study published in Psychoneuroendocrinology. Jesus. Makes me feel stupid trying to read that. They published this study, and the article's right here, referencing the article right here. They have a link to the study right here. It's probably behind a paywall, I'm guessing. Most of these well, there goes the abstract. Yeah, it's probably, you have to log in, National Library of Medicine. This would be a good one to register for. I wonder if it would be free. I'm going to have to check that out. Let's save that. Save this other favorites. Done. Okay, that might be a interesting website to save and to register for. So here they basically go into how they do PET scans or something like that to measure brain activity, and they found that women's brains and the limbic system, they said, and hormones. I'm not a medical expert, but hormones, limbic system, much stronger reactions to negative emotions. And these people in DC are pretty sophisticated, and they're on top of this, I'm quite sure. And so that's why the abortion issue, not only for liberal women, but for conservative women, just for all women, this is a highly emotional issue. So both sides have played to it. Overturning Roe v. Wade, in my opinion, may have a greater effect on turning out conservative-leaning women over liberal-leaning women? I'm not so sure yet. But I'm thinking it's more likely it's going to have a greater impact on liberal female turnout, especially suburban white women who have the leisure time to have political opinions and who have strong political opinions and are politically active to a large extent. So this just had a problem. Page just had a problem, so I might as well get rid of it for now. But politicians know this. Politicians are going to continue to play. Well, I mean, the Democrats are going to continue to play the abortion issue because they know that it's their best chance to get people to turn out, because they know it's in essence, to say it in a really sort of harsh but still true way, women are much easier to manipulate with emotional sort of platitudes. Okay. With the abortion issue, the Democrats don't have to do anything, don't have to really say anything really factual. All they have to say is Republicans are trying to take away your right over your body, your bodily autonomy, your right to choose what to do with your body unless it's a vaccine. Okay, I'm sure. I mean, that hypocrisy is out in plain view now on both sides, because the Republicans are saying, oh, we don't want women to have that right to do what they want with their body, but we want everybody to have a right not to have a shot injected in them. So it's both sides are hypocritical here. So that's what's interesting about this is one of these issues where both sides just can't avoid being hypocritical, okay? And for me, libertarian, I don't think any government should have any say in a person's right to get an abortion. I don't think any government should. Now, I would say on a local level, perhaps a local municipal government may zone out or not allow abortion clinics in their locality. Okay, that's where the only place and the only government that should have a say in it, at the local level. Okay, so that's out of the way. But Democrats are going to continue to beat this issue, even though, the conservative-leaning people tend to say, oh, this issue has been a flop at this point. Biden's approval definitely isn't reflecting any impact yet. But that may be just because the Democratic base has completely lost faith in Biden at this point. That doesn't mean they won't vote for local representatives, senators, Congress, etc. So it may still play out. And I think that the talking heads know that. Not the talking heads, the political heads know that. And, if we look back, I would never reference 538 unless, I was pressed for time, I guess. But, this is legit article, legit data that they're citing here. And, Trump had a hard time with white suburban, whatever we define suburban as these days, but white suburban women. And anecdotally, I would say most women that I've talked to said they didn't like Trump, and I'm saying let's tabulate them. A majority of women I have talked to about Trump most of them said they didn't like Trump, and a lot of them, I don't know if the majority of those, probably the majority of those said that the one thing that stuck out, the first thing they would mention is the grab them by the you-know-what comment. And in October of 2016, the media just beat that dead horse until it was thrice dead. Or that was not a gunshot, that was a loud-ass car. I don't know if that went through on the mic, but thrice dead horse they beat about Trump making that line. It was nonstop. It was from the Access Hollywood tapes or something. And it really, I think, was the beginning of his problems. I just think that didn't have so big an impact on the election because by that time most people had made up their minds anyways, and I think a lot of people were tuning out of the election coverage at that point. I mean, I think it was in August that the grab him by the you-know-what, by the blank comment came out. Maybe in July, I don't know. But I don't think it had huge impact because people had already made up their minds. Okay, I said that. So I think in here where the 538 is talking about how he lost white suburban women in 2020, or according to this, he was losing white suburban women, and I think he ended up not getting, according to the exit polls, not getting the majority of what we would classify as white suburban women. I mean, I'm not a biologist, so I don't know what a woman is, but apparently there are women sometimes, and sometimes there aren't women. Sometimes I don't know. It really confuses me. Okay. But so that's, then we got these political guys here, Rob Rayner, whoever the fuck that is. He has like 1 million followers, and it's all about Roe v. Wade. He's just a Democrat hack, and I don't know. Someone put Hunter Biden. I don't know. Someone's saying he's a crackhead. Maybe he is. Who knows? So they're all, if you go around Twitter, they're still bringing up abortion. It's abortion this, it's abortion that. And I think they could get some headway on this issue. And the conservatives are writing it off as a flop. But I think listen, this is the perfect talking point. The perfect talking point is target women with emotionally driven sort of statements, talking points designed to tug at the heartstrings, and especially negative emotions, make women feel threatened, okay, that their rights are being taken away, which is not true. I mean, objectively. And no woman is going to be, there's not going to be a woman as a matter of fact, I think access to abortion may get easier for women across the country. I don't care if you're in Mississippi, Alaska, Hawaii, New York. It's going to be easier to get an abortion. And likewise, there's going to be these pregnancy centers popping up everywhere. This is going to turn into yet another scam, this wouldn't be so much of a scam, but it would be a cottage industry. We're going to see nonprofits, quote, nonprofits turn up, and it's going to be like, we're going to get you to California so you can have an abortion after your pregnancy or whatever they're going to do. And it's going to be a big money-making thing. You watch and see. It's going to be a big moneymaker. And this is also, and like I said, the fact that Roe v. Wade was overturned, I don't think it's going to have as big an impact on conservative women, but it'll still have some impact because it's a very emotional issue for them too, because to them it's murder, etc. But because the issue is now resolved somewhat, I think it's going to be a less driving issue for them. To many conservative women, now the issue is resolved. So, but to the liberal women, it is going to be, oh my God, we're under threat. We're men want to, now they're going to take away our right to vote. God knows. And just what you see out there in terms of, the political advertisements and the statements on, the political advertisements on Twitter, which is most of the tweets. They don't have to be truthful. They don't have to be historical. They don't have to be rational when they talk about this. They just have to tug on those heartstrings, and that's going to get people going. But it remains to be seen whether this will be enough to have a noticeable impact on the election, because at the end of the day, it is the economy, stupid. And I don't see the economy really getting back on its feet. We may have a stagflation situation, although I don't think there's going to be as deep of a recession. I called recession literally last August. For now, I was right on that. I'm just got to brag about that. But as far as it being a super deep recession, maybe not initially. It may seem like a rather shallow recession at first, but it'll be a recession nonetheless. And recession usually spells doom for any politician, especially a politician that's already, and just for any politician, a recession is one of the worst things to happen. Inflation and a recession, it's a big problem. And I don't think, in a normal year, in a year with a good economy, this abortion issue could really drive a lot of votes. But but when you have a bad economy, inflation, and a recession, I don't know. But the Democrats figure they can't talk about the economy because nothing in their platform, or nothing that is politically palatable for them in their base, will help the economy. So I think they want to avoid the issue altogether. And the Republicans are just going to sit there and do nothing. And that way, when say very little, and promise very little, or maybe promise some things that they can't do. All politicians do that. But then they're going to come into power and they're going to do nothing because they're Republicans. So not very optimistic view there, but that is the history teaches us this is kind of how it goes, because we have to reach a real crisis level and have a real political turnaround here in terms of getting the old people out and getting the new people in. And we're just not going to make it there this year. There's going to be too many of the old people, not only in Congress and, the White House, a really old person, but especially some really, really old people, probably older than Biden, in the bureaucracies. Okay. And until we can shake these people out, the boomers and some of the Gen Xers, I don't think things are going to get much better on that front. But anyway, that's my thoughts on this abortion issue, and how this is common. They've done this before, and you're going to see more of this, targeting women with emotional issues, and they'll play it out until it no longer works. But we'll see how it pans out this time. I don't think it's going to really do much, and I am out.